I am now live. Hi, y'all. Welcome to QuiQui. Let me find my co-conspirator, Anusha. Right? Maybe. Oh, I hear you, I think.
Can you not see me?
I cannot. It says that you've joined, though, so let's give it a moment.
Yes, give it a minute. Oh, wait, share video. Why is it, would it not automatically share my video? That's strange. Oh, wait, that's just sharing in general. That's odd. I'm here. I can see you and I can see me. Can you not see me?
No, not yet.
That's very odd. Let's give it a minute, like I said.
I turned my video off just now to see.
See if that works.
Nope.
Is it just like your complete screen?
Yeah. World of Mystery says I can see you both.
Right.
Don't look it up!
No. Well, you know, alrighty, Roo. I mean, is there like another option to change the format of the screen, if that makes any sense?
I can flip the video around.
No, we don't want that. Even that's pretty though. That's very pretty. Whatever animal that is.
Oh, it's a red-shouldered hawk. I found it in South Carolina, and did you know that I'm a taxidermist?
No.
Yeah. I'd be doing anything.
I love that.
Oh. What do you think? Continue waiting, or maybe I should go out and come back in? Oh, let me actually look at it from my laptop and see what it looks like.
Throw a different device, because it might just be your device being funky. Hello, friends. Hello, people. Them. Hello to the people. Them.
I'd be doing anything. So, what do you think?
Do you see us both?
I can see it on my laptop. I can see both of us, so I guess I'll just...
It's just your phone being strange.
Yeah.
It's just your phone being strange.
Let me do the screen grab on my laptop, too.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Sounds good. Yeah, girl. I might have some jail food. These fancy gloves on.
And I'm going to have to sit this far, far away from me because it's doing that lag thing, and that is overstimulating.
Just turn the laptop off, and then the sound off, and it'll be fine because it'll still record it with the sound. If that makes any sense.
You think so?
Yeah. I think
okay.
I am like 80% sure that, like, not knowing laptops, that even if you turn the sound off and you record it, it will still record it with sound. Or turn it down to like 1 or something, and then we can figure out the sound thing later.
Okay.
Thank you. We coordinate a little bit. We did try on the aesthetics thing. You know, I try not to dress like a colonist because I'm British, but sometimes it accidentally happens, and you know I can't help it. Colonius is the word I'm looking for, not colonist. Wow. Anyway. Anywho. You good?
Almost.
All right. How were your weekends? Tell me in the chat.
Okay. I'm black.
Hello.
So that stressed me out. I'm just acknowledging it. I'm not overwhelmed. I just, I'm a little kerfluffled.
Do you want me to start then? I can kind of riff for a bit while you get your breath back.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Let me start. Well, hello everyone. This is Regina Jenkins, and my name is Anusha, aka Miss Chat Shits a Lot, and we're here to this is kind of the start of a new venture for us. We're trying out this sort of live podcasting that is going to be obviously on Instagram for the first 24 hours, and then we'll be on our respective Patreons. Yeah, and we are talking about all sorts of things. This is a very casual QuiQui. This is a very casual chat. There isn't going to be anything too distressing. We're not going to start bringing out the slideshows and thing. We are really just going to sit here and chat with you about certain topics, because we found that like when we met like through Black Violet Review, I think, was it not? Yeah, I think it was Black Violet Review, because you interviewed me for something and we just kind of vibed off each other, and we essentially just kept collaborating, kept doing things, and we ended up saying, you know what, let's just continue this venture. So like I said, my name's Anusha. This is Vagina Jenkins. I keep saying your whole name, but it's just because it just makes sense. Like, but how are you feeling today? How was your morning? How's your morning been?
Feeling better. Thanks for doing that little introduction of our project. It gave me some space to settle in, so thank you for that. As far as intro, oh, can you hear my laptop, by the way?
A little bit.
Do you think I should turn it down?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're in Toronto, and it's warm. I associate Toronto as just cold all the time. Like I've never, yeah, I associate Canada cold. That's all I know. And you will find in this series that I do not know much geography and I don't know any words. So this is going to be a fun little tidbit for everybody. That's a lot better. How do you feel?
I feel okay. Yeah. I trust that it's recording the sound, and if it's not, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Well, we still have the option to do the little link copying thing.
Yeah, Instagram thing.
So yeah, by way of intro, yes, absolutely co-sign to what Anusha said about us meeting during Black Violet Review, and I just really like your vibe, and I wanted to keep working with you. And yes, I'm just echoing exactly what you said. QuiQui is this little sort of podcast experiment that we are doing, hosted primarily on our YouTube pages, because we're both trying to build our YouTube accounts. Mine is YouTube at Vagina Jenkins. Anusha, yours is
Anusha LDN, I think. Yeah, I should really know that off the top of my tongue, but if you see a black Anusha, it's most likely me. There's very few Anushas in the world.
And we'll make sure to put links everywhere. And yeah, so I feel like that's the project. And yeah, to intro myself, my name is the Lady Ms. Vagina Jenkins. Yes, that's my full name. I allow people to choose their own version of what they would like to call me, but yeah, my full name is the Lady Ms. Vagina Jenkins, pronouns they, them. I am a multidisciplinary creative artist and astrologer who is based in Oakland, California. Though I was raised in the Southeast, so I very much feel country to myself, but now I'm a country mouse living in the big city, if that makes any sense. And yeah, I feel like that's all I want to say right now in terms of an intro. How about you?
Yeah, I'll do the same. My name is Anusha. Like I said, Anusha is traditionally a Hindu name, but it was given to me and I'm not Hindu. But I grew up in, I'm going to say Windsor, but it's not really Windsor. I grew up like in a very, very, very small town. And our version of country is very different to your version of country. Our country is very like this, very lace gloves, very pinky fingers. But yeah, I too moved to a big city in London. I've been here for coming up to 7-8 years now. So here we are. I do music. That's my main disciplinary. But I've been experimenting with other things like physical art, like video, which I'm calling myself a videographer today because the shit I have been doing. Someone said Bridgerton. Yes. No. Yes. But also I have a bone to pick with that show, because I'm like, the licensing that is taken. Show me the real shit of Windsor and Windsor Bloody Castle. What's the other show that's on Netflix that I'm forgetting the name of? The Crown.
Oh, yeah.
It's very much that, but that is a very like amped up view of what Windsor is. We are all quite common. And I liked the way I describe it so that I think everyone understands is that like segregation is very much alive at home, and you have the castle, a very rich road, and us poor fuckers. So that is how Windsor is set up, and they steal money from us in order to have said castle. So yeah, that's how I describe Windsor. But I think like if I was to get into actual geography, we'd be here all day. But I just say Windsor just out of ease. But yeah, anyway, enough about geography. Enough about this kind of bullshit. How are you feeling? Like, how's your week been? I feel like you've not talked to you properly this week. So like, what's been new? What's new with you?
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. I think I low-key missed you. We didn't have last week. We've been collaborating on some sort of artistic project every Saturday for like the last 6 Saturdays.
Yeah.
And we didn't have one last week, and I think it threw my week off. It was the start of the discombobulation of my week. Yeah, as an autistic person, I hate when people use that phrase, like I'm speaking for all of the autistics, but my autistic experience is very much that I have a set, not schedule, but like rhythm to my days. And I try to only do like one major task, something that I consider like a stretch, one of those per day, you know? And yeah, I feel like not having that rhythm of seeing you on Saturdays started the feeling a little bit unmoored. And then I had some plumbing stuff go on at my apartment, which meant, unexpected maintenance workers in my space, some of them that didn't. I offered them COVID, safety masks at the front door. They take them and then they pretend that like, they're going to wear them, but then they don't. And so I guess what I'm just describing is like a sort of nervous system dysregulation. And so I think that's kind of like how I'm showing up to the space today. And yes, I am very much present, but also yesterday was a hard day in terms of sensory experiences of plumbers in the house and trying to like recoup from that. And it usually takes me like 36 hours to do that. So that's how my week has been. Speaking of disability and disability realness. So
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That sound. I think since COVID started, anything to do with maintenance stuff, I always try and like do it until until the wheels fall off, because I just hate it. Like having all the stuff you had to do before, like make sure the house is somewhat presentable, make sure they have a clear path, blah blah blah, and then to actually then wait for the person, you got to talk to someone you don't know, so there's a bunch of small talk, and then you've got stress.
It's all of the sensory stuff in addition to the masking. And yes, the cleaning and being presentable, like in the physical space, is part of the masking, and the ways in which you are holding your body and your face. I'm making all the proper faces. Am I saying the language? Am I making eye contact? All of those masking things. That's part of the experience that I'm describing as well.
Yeah.
School of Mystery said the body is its own person sometimes. Hell yeah, very much to that.
Exactly.
She is upset.
She needs like, I kind of think of it, like the monster in whatever that Big Mouth, like that sort of you have like little monster, that little person you have to take care inside you, and when they're upset, they're bloody upset. No, I hear that. I can only empathize, because it is the worst bloody experience ever. So yeah, I get that.
How's your week been? You had some people in recently, didn't you? Last week.
I had people drilling. That was that's and see, again, London is the wild wild west when it comes to housing, and there's not many regulations when it comes to like when you can start work. And technically, because it wasn't in this apartment, they could start it whenever they wanted. So they started at like 7 a.m. and that was disgusting. But beyond that, my week has been it's been fine. I've felt hello. I felt very just I feel like I'm running out of tether, if that makes any sense. So I'm running out of like space before my body was just like, you know what, I've had enough. And I think because I work a 9 to 5, and my 9 to 5, they're starting to get very draconian, and they're telling us, they're basically threatening us all the time to be like, you must be presentable at work, and blah 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 blah. And being disabled and being like and for full context, I've been working from home, not out of choice, but out of the fact that like me sitting up like this is only going to be for an hour, and then I have to absolutely lie down. And what I've told work this for the past couple of months, and they just absolutely don't believe me. And now their stakeholders or whoever are now getting upset because people aren't handing in work or whatever. So they're like saying, "Oh, you need to have your cameras on. You need to do this and blah blah blah." And it's so ableist. And I think, you know what? And like, let me get on my little soapbox for 2 seconds. What's missed me is not necessarily the fact that they said all this, because it can be rectified, it can be changed. It's the fact that many people have come up in the chat and said, hey, this is a bit ableist. This is a bit this is using threatening language. And they're like, okay. And I was like, oh, I need to go. And I have a thing where I stay in jobs for like 2 years and then I leave. Like, that is just Anusha's pattern of working. I just don't like 9 to 5 work. I do this on top, like music and creativeness on top of my 9 to 5, and I absolutely hate 9 to 5 working. So I always try and find jobs that I can sort of just DOS in, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And this is the first job where they have actively, I don't mind being told what to do. Do not ever threaten me. This is the first time I've been threatened in a job, and I was like, nah, you will not threaten me. Like, I will leave and be unemployed if I have to be, if it makes life easier. But yeah, it's been a whole, I think I have a thing, and it's a family trait of like, I do not like being told what to do. I do not like being told what to do. And
do you think your work life would be different, this job and other jobs, if you were accommodated?
Bro, life would be good. Life would be sweet. Like, and I think that's a really good point. I think if I've spent and I don't know if people who aren't from the UK, again, I'm trying not to do this is the UK sort of intro, but I just want to explain what I'm talking about. They've made me go through like these means testing, essentially, for the past couple of months. It's been since last year, and I'm still going through means testing because they actively do not believe that I'm sick. And I'm telling you, the stress, because the admin on top, like the work admin on top of the medical admin, are now on top of this means testing admin. If you took that away, bro, like,
yeah,
life would be easy. Work would be getting done not only on time, but with bells and whistles. And I think what's interesting is that, mind you, this is a medical charity, without completely telling people where I work, but it's interesting because they're so ableist, because it's not just in this sense. They are very ableist in the way that they do things, like their presentations. They just speed through so nobody knows what's going on. They say that hybrid working, but they still haven't figured out how to use Zoom, to the point where I had to send them a document. And yeah, and I'm like, they keep talking about, we want to retain your attention. I'm like, then do a better job. You're rubbish at your job. And it's like, I you. And I think this is where I came from a family that I've never been told to like respect your elders. That's never been, that respectability thing's never been a thing. I told them that. I just said, hey, you need to get better at your job. I'm like, you need to like, if you don't engage with people, then you can't actively expect them to do the job for you. Like,
Yeah.
it goes, but yeah.
What you're describing is not only having to do your job, but also to be somewhat of an accessibility consultant for your bosses because they don't have accessibility already threaded into how they do the workplace, if that makes any sense.
100%. I mean, it's interesting you say that because I wanted to become one of my friends, because I remember you saying that you don't look like you're built for 9 to 5 work, and I was like, you are absolutely right about that because I am not built for 9 to 5 work. I've only been doing it very recently. And one of my friends, Maz, basically mentioned like you should just do consultancy. Like, you know, you get paid to do like one thing a week. You know, you get paid a week's worth wages for that 1 hour, and then you can rest for the rest of the week. Yeah. I'd be like, I would love that if people cared about accessibility. I would. The way I would pivot so hard, I would be at, you would know my name, like accessibility in the UK would be, Anusha would be under it. Like, I would go so hard on it because I've done it for years, but I don't think that many places actually truly care about accessibility.
No.
And if they did, I don't think they have the money. Someone agrees. Yes, Radhika. But yeah, I think that's the thing that frustrates me is that like I absolutely would pivot to a job that deals with this, but I think half the time would be like this job are just like, yeah, we do accessibility and what? Like, how would I mean, yes, I could DOS and get paid for it. You know, I could DOS and be like, you know, get my money, but I don't even think I don't even think it'd be worth it. Squirrel of Mystery said they only care if it's a liability.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I'm doing this means testing, by the way. Like, that is the only reason I'm doing this means testing, because I mentioned that I'm walking at my ministry right now and I have a lot of chronic fatigue and I've been known to faint. And they heard the word faint and they were like, oh, we've got these official papers and ting or whatever. If I didn't say that, they'd just either fire me or tell me to get back to work.
Yeah.
It was only because I said
I imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine. You know, my last nonprofit job, I remember we were going through, I forget what the fancy word for it is, but it's like, strategic planning. It's when you like look at the mission and you look at the way that you've been doing the mission and you think, okay, we're at a critical juncture. How can we do this differently? So it's like a space to dream, right? Like, what is the best case scenario that we would want for our organization? And I remember just bringing up the idea of, could there be an accessibility manager, coordinator, you know, or at least like a consultant that would help us. Like, if we didn't have like a dedicated staff member, maybe we would have a series of consultants that we could like bring on to like, hey, is this website accessible? Is this program accessible? That kind of thing. And not only did they say that it wasn't necessary, but they said that it would just happen because we were all LGBTQ people.
I don't see the correlation there.
I am still fucking 5 years later, I am still confused by that. Like, that they were somehow saying that because of our gender and sexuality, we would somehow just all innately know how to do disability justice and accessibility. I'm still, like, I understand the principle of intersectionality, don't get me wrong, but how were you born knowing how to do accessibility? Do you just know it off? I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, like, just because, you know, you've seen a disabled person does not mean that you know accessibility. Like, that does not make sense. Like,
and that was a crime last week, so obviously I'm an
obviously I know everything. Lord, and that's the I think that's the thing that frustrates me about 9 to 5 work is that you forget I say you forget. I don't forget, but the royal you. It's still embedded in capitalism, and you are still, the capitalist interest will always trump any sort of help that you need. because at the end of the day, you are expendable, and I think that's that feeling of expendability, of feeling like, oh, someone is going to fire me, because I've been fired before due to accessibility. I've been fired before because I'm poor. Like I took a 9-to-5 job, like my first 9-to-5 job, funny enough, in January 2020, and the guy that ran this thing was upset because I didn't tell him. I told him during the interview, but I didn't tell him straight away, and he wanted me to take on these other. I used to work in like an after school club thing, and 5 hours a week compared to 20 hours. Like, what do you think? What do you think I'm going to do, especially at 21? Go for the 20 hours a week, 20-hour a week job. And he fired me because of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Like, and I screamed at him, like, Lord. Like, I was so frustrated. And it was just because I'm like, you fired me because I'm poor. But that feeling, like, I hate the rug being pulled out under me, which is why I'm still in this bloody job. And they know that. Every job knows that. Not very many people will just get fired or leave a job for the heck of it,
Yeah.
So.
And that's what
Yeah.
Going back to that question that I asked earlier, like, if you had been accommodated in all the different ways financially as well, would you have stayed at these jobs? And then it just brings it back home for me that, like, that is kind of like, under capitalism, that is the kind of the definition or the nature of disability, is how useful are you to capitalism? Can you do this work? And if you cannot do this work, we're not really willing to accommodate you because you are disposable now.
Exactly.
That kind of vibe.
Exactly. And I mean, like, I'm going to put on my little theory hat ever so quickly. That is an excellent point, because, to be honest, disability under capitalism, capitalism is very much, we talk about, like, the have and the have-nots, the rich and the poor. Like, there's always, if someone has something, they are exploiting somebody else. Like, you think about Congo, and you think about, like, how their minerals, and Haiti, to be honest, their minerals and natural resources are being exploited for the imperial core. Everything is exploitation. And when you put it under the frame of disability, it's the fact that there is a certain type of disabled person, so that they can tick off the diversity quota.
Yes.
They can tick off everything that, yes, we have this much percentage of disability people. Disability people? No, that's what that was a Freudian slip. But they can tick
got a
off
black, we've got a disabled, we've got a queer.
We've got
Not all
one
in the
queer,
same
one
body
disabled,
now.
we're done. Like, you're done. But they can take off their quotas so that essentially they keep the certain amount of other people marginalized, and it's like, you get the people who are bedbound or housebound, who cannot work, who absolutely have no capability to work, and those people are essentially disposed of in lieu and in aid of the other people who can work, and they can do the, hey, I'm disabled and here's how I keep a job sort of post. And yeah.
That reminds me of another point. The chat was talking about disposability, and it reminded me of I was thinking earlier before, what will we talk about? Common disabled experiences. I feel like the experience of disposability, being disposed of, the experience of isolation. And yeah, it made me also wonder, like, okay, sorry, there's so many ideas happening at the same time.
That's right.
One question of both of us. When did you know that you were disabled? And was that more of an internal or external experience? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do. This is a very layered question. Follow my logic here.
Okay.
So growing up, like, I talk about, like, Windsor being very segregated, and I grew up on the estate, which is the equivalent of like the hood, or like projects or whatever. and I have disabled family members in my house. And so when we would go to school, like, I actively knew that there was something different. I couldn't pinpoint what. You know, and mind you, I'm very lucky that my mother likes black people, so it wasn't like the whole internalized, like, oh, I didn't know that I was black, none of that. But anyway, I'll go to school, and the way that people would talk to me, that sort of like talking down to, that happened to me quite a lot. And then I learned, oh, I'm really mentally unwell. Like, oh damn, and that's like a form of neurodivergence, right? And I sort of understood that. I was like, okay, I am unwell, and people treat me as if I am unwell. Okay, fine. And then I think insert traumatic experience. 15 years old is a very weird time, and I think I just kind of was like, well, stuff this, and I sort of acted out, and that was I think it was a form of masking of, like, I really just internalized everything I internalized. If it wasn't, you know, trying to always be the best student, not trying to talk back, not trying to blah blah blah, I let go. 15, Lord, I let go of that. I was like, nah, I'm good, I'm fine. I'm going to act out. I am going to blah blah blah. I am going to do X, Y, and Z. Like, that was, I think 15 was like the pinnacle year of like neurodivergence as a whole. But then, like, the physical disability sort of coincides with that, because I then started getting very sick. And just like so many illnesses. But I will say it's a gift and a curse, because again, Windsor is a very small area, and then you cut the rich people out of it because they've got their private healthcare. It is so tiny in compared to other places, and our healthcare, like, there are 4 hospitals on, like, you know, within a couple of miles radius within each other.
Yeah.
So when I got sick, I just got better. It was like, all right, like, you know, I would get sick for a week, call the doctor, they'd be like, oh yeah, do this, all right, cool. You know, I got therapy within like 2 weeks, you know, which that's unheard of now. I had a bunch of operations. They got dealt with phone. He's charging at some point. Yeah, like, I had a bunch of I basically had a bunch of, like, access to healthcare, like, really easily. And then even beyond that, I when I started university, I then went home. But then I think it just the simple answer is the pandemic was the change.
Yeah.
Because then I couldn't go home and go to mummy's GP. I couldn't then get stuff dealt with quickly, and it was a bit like, why does everyone suffer? Like, I knew everybody, you know, healthcare wasn't the same, and like I kind of understood it, but that was the first indication of, wow, like, externally I'm disabled and nobody gives a rat's ass. And I think the absolute moment for me, like the moment that I was like, it clicked, was my ex-roommate. Was that whole debacle.
Oh yeah, living with someone who didn't take COVID precautions seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I still had a very, my job's 23. I still had a very young mindset of like, well, you know, we're suffering in this together, you know. Lord Jesus, was I wrong? And they kind of gave me a whole spiel of, yes, I'm disabled too, and all this kind of stuff. I was like, say less. Their mum, you know, I won't bring their mum into this, but they were very sick. And I thought, okay, great. And then I find out a couple of years, later, oh, they were lying about masking. They were always at party.
Yeah.
I had to beg them to test, and me begging them to test was them calling me pedantic. So
Yeah.
it was a very sucky situation, but that moment was Oh yeah, I am disabled because you niggas do not give a shit about me. All right, say less. Like,
It's,
and
yeah, the
yeah,
disability, I mean, the disposability part, yeah.
yeah, that
You know,
that.
I feel like my disability story is quite similar to yours. Having, you know, this neurodivergent childhood, I went from one spectrum of special ed to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, I never had the experience of, what do they call it?
Yeah,
Mainstream?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mainstream school.
But yeah, just one spectrum of special ed through
Yeah,
like
that childhood.
three, third or fourth grade, and then into the other spectrum of whatever they call it. Gifted
Oh yeah,
and it's special ed for autistic kids, basically.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, constantly being treated differently in that way. It's different in that I guess maybe there are more white boys and white boys are important. So you get more resources in the gifted and talented program. And so I noticed that as a difference. And so, yeah, that thing where you like internalize, okay, so if I perform this, if I mask this way, then maybe people will think of me as human, like that
Mm-hmm.
kind of vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, yeah, ensuing anxiety, all that good stuff. And then, yeah, thinking that that would end with school. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is only a school sort of experience. Like, babe, no.
Yeah.
People can tell within 5 minutes of talking to you that something's not right. And neurotypicals really don't like autistics and they don't know why. And it causes them great distress. And so there's usually some sort of violence. But I kept thinking if I would internalize the proper ways to act,
Mm-hmm.
that I would somehow be accepted. And then, yeah, I think we talked about this. I'm not going to go into extreme detail, but hypersexuality
Mm,
as a way to mask and have like currency in the world.
mm,
That was a huge part of my 20s, 30s, that kind of experience. And then, yeah, so many experiences of being disposed of on the job site. Um, Disposed of in social relationships,
mm-hmm.
but not so much because there was a time in my life when I was popular.
Mm,
But then when people were done basically having sex with me, then that was the sort of disposal sort of thing. And then, yeah, the same, I feel like my disabled isolation was when I was no longer useful in a sexual or a labor way. I was
yeah.
no longer employable
Mm,
and no longer interested in sex work, basically.
mm,
And that's when I feel like the deep experience of isolation sort of kicked in. And then, yeah, it's associated a little bit with the pandemic, but if I'm honest, I feel like this is like 2018 on. So this has been more than 4 years, like a 6 year sort of experience
yeah,
of
yeah.
disabled isolation. But you know, I have to say, at the same time, you I found disability justice and online disability
Mm,
community.
mm.
Um, who said that? Yes, hypersexuality is that why I was that way. I had no idea it was a neurodivergent trait. I mean, I don't know if it's a
It can
neurodivergent trait,
be.
but just talking about my experience. Feel free
Yeah,
to
yeah,
like, do your own research about like what that
yeah.
looks like. But I have to say, finding online disability justice community, autistic community, Black folks that are autistic in particular. Let me say that because white autistics be on that same white supremacy bullshit.
Let me tell
Um,
you. Let me ask me how I know. Ask
yeah.
me how I know. Like,
Do you have an online disability community, and like who are you fucking with online? Like who makes you happy to
yeah.
follow?
Well, I do have a disability community, and I always, again, because have disabled family, there are people like that. I've got like an in-person community that I kid you not, you know, if something were to go wrong, boom, they are there, you know, like, and I as much as I like to shit on Windsor as a place because it is a very strange it is a very strange place. I will say, like, having that in person was just it's so lovely. Like, and if something were to go wrong, they would absolutely, like, they've got my back.
Yeah.
Online, yeah, I do, and it's interesting because everyone's really scattered. And I never thought like I would know people from like all areas of the bloody world, but there are so many people that have taught me. And this is something, if we continue doing this, you will learn about me. I like knowing that I'm right, and they absolutely affirm me, and like, you're right in the way you're thinking. This is bullshit. I'm like, yes, I've got it. I'm done. Like, that's like how you make Kanusha happy. Just tell me I'm right, and you know, I could get on with our day. And the people that I mess with, you look okay to me. Jamisha, aka Jamisha, who's just got a 1 year online program like response thing. So, you know, claps in the chat for them. Yeah, You Look Okay to Me is someone that I absolutely look up to, and their videos are very informative, very easy to listen to. Another one is Crutches and Spice. I think we all know Crutches and Spice, Imani. They are also so lovely. And again, our Indian books does not take much bullshit and is most of the time always right. So I absolutely, those are two people.
What was that last one you said after Crutches and Spice? I didn't catch it. I'm putting all of these in the chat.
Oh, that was it. Those two people. Another person who I would have to get the laptop up and get their is I think her name's Raina, or I want to say Raina or Raina. Sometimes vowels confuse me, but I will I'll get their at and I'll send it to them. They are a sex worker in Philadelphia, and they are someone who, again, I just love like Black people and colored people and the way that we come together. And I especially love poor people. Like, I think poor people are always right when it comes to how society works. And yeah, they are one of my absolute favorite people, and they always have their finger on the button. They always have a good analysis when it comes to like how life works, because again, they've got a lot going on. So yeah, those are like three people, and I'll give you that at in a second. But what about you? Who are you messing with, and like who are your people?
I just added a couple people to the chat. Oh, by the way, this is Bethany. Hi, one of the folks that I'm fucking with in terms of learning from. Also, I put in Black Autist. And Black Autistic Kayla. It's so funny being an old on the internet. So many of the people that I look up to and admire are actually younger than me. And I think that that's only because, you know, the way ageism works, and we don't necessarily value the voices of our elders. Mm-hmm. So yes, please shout out to them. But also, if you know of any elder Black autistic or Black disabled folks in general. But yeah, I'm fucking with them heavy in terms of like people that inspire me, affirm my experience, people that I can learn from. Oh, also, let me see, Justinia. What is it? One disabled voice. Oh shoot, I can't think of the thing.
Let me look it up. I have the laptop in front of me. The person I was speaking about is actually Rainy. But it's like RAAANI Begum or Begum. Oh, that's one thing that's really strange about England and the US. Like the way, and obviously we say things differently, but
hold on.
There are so.
Can you spell that again? RAY.
No, RAANI.
Oh, I'm sorry. RAAY.
Oh well, NI.
RAANI.
Yeah, and then BEGUM.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought Rainy, but
Letty. Do you know Letty? I'm trying to find them now.
How do you spell it? Or...
Oh, I was looking at the chat. Someone says Letty Is it Letitia Mel, perhaps?
Maybe. Oh, upgrade accessibility.
Oh, yes. Anyway, I just wanted to like shout out a couple of people and say, you know, that we are learning from so many people and we are in community with such amazing people. And this is just a brief list of disabled folks that we are learning from and in community with. And yeah, if you want to follow them, if folks that are watching want to check out this list of folks. Do you want to wrap it up? I feel like we're around 45 now.
Yeah, I feel very, it's time for a lie down. It's time for a
I understand.
Yeah.
How would we wrap it up? We can say, oh, that we can plug our things.
We have a lot
can
of
say
things.
what we're on about. I'm trying to speak your language. We can say what we're on about this week.
I'm screaming. See, I can't do. I can only do a Caribbean accent. I cannot do any other accent. Do not ever try to ask me to do a Southern accent because it would be terrible.
I don't. It's good. I can't do any bad Southern accent.
Exactly.
Oh, you're working on you just finished a music video, is it?
Yeah, so I had a song called Burden that came out last year. The remix is coming out on the 5th of April. And the remix video, which is in collaboration with other housebound disabled folks, is going to be out the week after, so the 12th of April. I've just done the first draft of the music video. I do not begrudge any videographers because videography is very bloody hard. So that all is happening. If you go to my Instagram, I've literally written a list because I know remembering things is hard. So I'm going to update that list because I wanted to add Black Violet Review, which is basically how we met. It's a Black queer experience of like a showcase of all different artists, and me and Vagina, we've basically made like an artistic piece from Burden and from Vagina's like art, like physical art. Woo! Jesus Christ. And basically, that's the law telling me I need to log off soon because my phone fell down. But yeah, so that's kind of the three things we're looking to. I also actually know what stuff it. Let me plug something else. I've also got a virtual performance happening at the end of April, 26th of April. I will put a link somewhere. If you just message me and ask for the link, and I'll go and send you the thing. Tickets are some of them are free. We've got some of them goes up to about $10, $15. Mm-hmm. So yeah, go check it out. I'm Anusha LDN everywhere. I'm pretty sure, like I said, if you search Anusha and she's Black, you found me. But yeah, my YouTube is Anusha LDN. My Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, I think is Anusha Music because I was feeling fancy, but everything else is Anusha LDN, short for London. Vagina Jenkins, please go because I feel like I've been talking for 20 years.
I didn't know that. I always meant to ask you what LDN was short for. LDN,
it's just London, just London.
For me, what do I have to plug? Yes, to Black Violet Review, currently running until the April 15th. It's a virtual show. You can watch it at home. So check out that link that I put in the chat. Also, the biggest and most important thing in my life right now is my YouTube page, YouTube at Vagina Jenkins. I am doing everything that I can think of to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark so I can have that ad revenue. Because, you know, I am unemployable. And so all of the streams of income, I run a Patreon, vaginajenkins.com, a Buy Me a Coffee, Vagina Jenkins. And and then my website, vaginajenkins.com. But yeah, those are streams of income, and I'm trying to get that YouTube stream of income because I would like nice things like groceries.
Yeah, no,
Groceries are nice.
it's a luxury in our life, you know. Like,
Food
wow.
is nice.
I would like
Anywho.
nice food. I get it. Some people want nice food, and that's okay, you know. Like,
All right, friends. I think that that's everything.
yeah,
I love and appreciate you all for showing up and being in the building. And yeah, you can see this full thing on our various Patreons and snippets of it on our YouTube channels. So check us out.
exactly. Love you and thank you for doing this with me today. It's been a lot of fun. It's been the highlight of a very shitty week, so I appreciate you. So thank you.
All right, friends.
All right.
Love you, and I'll talk to you soon. And yeah, thanks everybody that stopped by, and talk to y'all later.
Being here. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.